This time last year, the New South Wales South Coast seat of Gilmore was at the centre of a ruthless political storm dominating national headlines. With the federal election looming, intervention from the highest office in the country saw the locally elected Liberal Party candidate ousted, enraging local branches and sparking an internal division. It paved the way for a bitter battle that saw a former Labor Party president, the National Party federal vice president and a once failed federal candidate square off for the crucial seat held by the coalition for more than 2 decades. The months that ensued were as chaotic as they were unpredictable as the major parties jostled for supremacy. Loyalty and Leaks is a 3-part series, filmed and produced by Win News cameraman Michael Pignataro over 3 years, capturing the story as it unravelled, revealing explosive insights into the internal politics that forced 2 former members to turn their back on the Liberal Party.
Liberal candidate for Gilmore, Joanna Gash, knew early in the piece she was on her way to an historic win.
Primer results, Gash 1425, not 1197.
It's up to us now to carry through our policies and to continue with the credibility that we need to show the people of Gilmore.
Without Jo, she's the one who put the idea here. She's the one who decided to put herself behind me.
Gareth Ward, member for Kyne. To now be heading for State Parliament is, I just can't see. I just hope that I can live up to the expectations that people have set.
I cannot tell you how proud I am to be able to be leaving the seat of Gilmore in such safe hands as Anson Miles. Thank you, Anson.
I knew I was walking uphill right from the word go with this election.
Gareth Ward, member for Kyne, Parliamentary Secretary for the Illawarra and South Coast on the 27th of November 2015. At this point in time, I have got to a point where I am so happy and so content with the work that I have. I feel like I'm up to that challenge and I'm meeting all of those challenges. And I'm not looking for the next hurdle to climb, but when it comes, I'll be there ready to meet it.
There is an enemy at our gate.
He's like the French Revolution.
He wasn't talking to a friend.
Sorry to break it to Neil, but I've never considered Neil a friend.
The currency of politics is votes.
That might have been great down at the pub to say I stuck one to the government.
Time to smell the roses and get out of the filth.
Leaks are often done for a purpose.
Of course they are.
Maybe the state member should look at himself.
To simply chuck your toys out of the cot because you didn't get your way.
Oh no, it was strategic.
Oh, absolutely not.
What electorate doesn't have a candidate?
I love this. I love this when people say we've seen notes handed around.
No, I believe there were, but I didn't see them.
Double standards, hypocrites.
Can I use an expletive? Bull.
Well, I got the phone call from Mike Baird on a Thursday night. Cabinet had met. And he rang me to tell me that the government would be recommending a merger of Shoalhaven and Kyne councils.
When the announcement did come out, we were literally all gobsmacked.
I felt that they had stabbed us in the back.
Well, obviously I told the Premier very bluntly what I felt of that particular proposal and said that I wouldn't be supporting it.
Will you vote for them at the next election?
They were angry, and they're still angry, and they're absolutely right to be angry. And what did I say to that meeting that night? I understand that you're going to be angry.
You have your answer, Mr. Wood. Thank you. Thank you.
Dennis Siege, who wore a placard and looked like a turkey, and Neil Riley, the oldest teenager in the Illawarra, who's, of course, an ex-3 times Labor candidate for Gilmore.
That's what they're saying. We're unfit to have it. We don't deserve a future.
Other than that, who said anything about me? Nobody.
My life is people and I read people. And I can see how disappointed he was in his own government making that decision.
I was absolutely angry. I can't remember being more angry in my life.
I guarantee you. Put a private member's bill and you'll get a vote. Thank you, Neil. You can vote.
a bit of a chop and set a Prime Members Bill. Mate.
My feeling is if there was an opportunity to debate it on the floor of Parliament, there would be a lot more clarity and a lot more transparency, and the full story would get out.
I've seen other people who claim to be better than you, and Neil Riley is no different from the schoolyard bully that thought he was better than everybody else. He's just got a different haircut and earring.
This is about outcomes. You can trade in whatever politics you want. I'm going to trade in victory, and that's what we're going to have.
He's like the French Revolution. There go my people. I must find out where they're going so I can lead them. He is the only person that he could walk into a room packed to the rafters with people that agreed with him, were frothing at the mouth with the fact that he was right and they were agreeing with everything that he said. And yet he still walked out of that room having lost votes. Oh, look, I felt very nervous. I felt concerned. But, look, there will be other challenges. There will be other problems. This is a big one. No doubt about that. I've never seen anything like this before. This is a new set of tornadoes, but this time they're coming at me, not just whirling around the place.
All ready. Okay. I didn't quite know whether to put it in there or not, so if you want me to,
Pre-selection for Gilmore's coming up on the 19th of February.
Yep.
Have you been asked to run?
Look, there's been branch presidents that have suggested that I run.
Lucky they're not raw, that's all I can say.
You know, I've got my supporters in the party. That's humbling.
I think there might have been half a dozen, which probably would be the same half a dozen that I wouldn't have called.
They don't want to see Gilmore lost. They want to ensure that they are successful in Gilmore.
There's always been a group of people who think he is the best person for any political position that's coming up.
But you had the job.
Yeah, I know. I had the job and I was actually doing a good job. My party want me.
I think that on many levels Anne has been a good member, but I understand that there is some dissatisfaction with her performance. I understand that.
If I had done something stupid or I'd done a lousy job, I think I'd probably be feeling at risk, but I'm not. I didn't flood all of my members' emails with look at me, media alerts, media events, commentary or anything else. So just when the job was done, I'd say, hey guys, we've achieved this.
If I ran for Gilmore, it wouldn't be for, at this point, any other reason than to make the next step. And I still have a lot to do in the state parliament.
The community tell me I'm doing a good job and I'm very involved in the community.
The selection of Fiona Phillips is going to make it a lot easier for her because I don't believe that Fiona is in any way the right person to serve the people of Gilmore.
Take some balloons in.
Look, Anne Samalis has already come out and said that she would contest, obviously, as the sitting member for Gilmore.
They generally like to have a continuing member, but who knows?
And I think, yeah, well, that will go ahead as planned. I'm sure there's some challenges.
You never know until 5 o'clock on the Friday afternoon if anybody's decided to put their name in for it. To challenge a marginal seat holder who is also a female in her second election is extraordinary.
It's a blue, is it? Or purple? Sorry, I'm colourblind for blues and purples. There we go.
Yeah, look, the National Society took the view to cancel all the political stalls, and we very much want to be a part of the show. So what we've done is set up our stall outside the front gate so that we can talk with passers-by as they go into the show.
It's a shame that rather than spend your time productively, you've got to politicise something that really shouldn't be political. I think it says more about her than anything else. But anyway, I'll let other people make up their mind. Doesn't matter what I think. It's not my election.
That's why we're here, because this is about democracy and hearing that other viewpoint. It's very hard as a candidate to be there and get that message out. So by being here today, we can do that.
We had one booked, but look, the Show Society made a call and we were quite happy with that. I think the focus should be on the exhibits, and it's about volunteering. If people want to volunteer, you can certainly do that. Come and help out.
Really? Well, that's probably what Gareth would say as a patron of the show. Look, I think it's different for sitting members as well, because, people like Gareth have a high profile as well, so they will know who Gareth is on the gate.
Well, and that would be a response I would expect from someone like Fiona Phillips.
It is about engagement with the community as well.
It's hard enough dealing with all of the animals without having to deal with political animals as well.
I'm sure I've seen Gareth Ward in T-shirts and things all around the place before. So, yeah, very happy to be here.
No, there's been other shows. The Albion Park show, we were handing out balloons as well too. I know you love your balloons, Michael. They had no problem with us being there in balloons and T-shirts. They just didn't want to stall.
Do you think we might get some balloons past Gareth?
She completely disrespected that view and was in your face and almost ostentatiously arrogant.
Okay, thanks, Gareth. Thanks, Paul. I never intended to enter politics, and a lot of people, I knock on their door and they say, I don't know anything about politics. I say, well, you know, do you have children that go to school? Do you use your local hospital? Thank you. Oh, yeah. Cold hands. I have very cold hands. Warm heart. And that's what it's about. We've got to have people that will stand up and make a difference. And I, to be quite honest, just got sick and tired of, you know, seeing things the same way over many, many years and decided to make a difference.
Listen, I'm on the front page of the newspaper, son, and I only called him once.
If this wasn't about me, why make it about me? That's what he's done.
My name's Neil Riley, and today is the 18th of February 2016. I apologise to Gareth for my unseemly language, and it was.
OMG. Oh my God. I was kind of blown away, you know, and I thought, you don't drink and drive, you don't drink and text.
The circumstances of being on the front page are generally pretty happy circumstances for any politician, but for me it's turned out to be rather miserable.
Yeah, right.
That's one of the last things you want to see in the media.
When we started to talk in terms of the text, he wasn't talking to a friend. He was giving me government speech.
Well, sorry to break it to Neil, but I've never considered Neil a friend.
But I thought that was a flippant and terrible remark, and I just texted him that word.
The newspapers were losing interest. The media were losing interest in the amalgamation. They simply were. That put us back on page one.
You just cannot say that sort of stuff. And some people say all publicity is good publicity and so on. Well, it isn't.
I forwarded that text to Council because Dennis Siege had sent an email, Councillor Dennis Siege had sent an email calling me a traitor.
We have a leak in our council, and every email that I send gets sent to Gareth Ward, have no doubt about that. And I know that. And so sometimes I'll bait Gareth.
I'm totally opposite. He's not a traitor.
Who is the council leak then?
In my opinion, it's Mark Way, no doubt about it.
I don't know who did. I have no idea.
Mark's been accused of leaking stuff. Can I tell you, just about every document I've ever received hasn't just come from Mark Way.
Mark Way doesn't just leak to Gareth Ward. Mark Way leaks elsewhere as well.
I'll see he's wrong.
No, I knew it would be leaked. I knew it would be leaked, and that's why I did it.
He's probably said that because I drew his attention to the fact that he'd made a mistake.
If someone can get you in some sort of way, either to make you look as though you've done something terrible, or to just put you off your game, they'll do it.
It was just such a gutsy thing, and it just expressed how we all felt, and probably what we maybe all wanted to say but didn't have the balls to say it, but he did.
Well, I don't have that one framed.
Would you like it framed?
No, thanks. I'll let him keep that.
I know what my character is, and it won't be defined by a front page that's news today and wrapping fish tomorrow.
We must endorse Anson Marlis.
Did he have his fingers crossed behind his back?
Definitely rat the rank there.
Why now and why now?
Because Fiona Phillips will be an outstanding candidate.
Thank you very, very much for coming.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
G'day, Anne. Not too bad. Welcome to your new office. I'm standing on mine. Good to see you. You got Julie coming down?
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Excellent. Good for you.
Oh, thanks for having me here. No, that's fun. Hi.
I'm the Labor candidate for Gilmore. You've got no damned audience at all.
I'm delighted to see my dear colleague and friend Joe Gash here and the local mayor.
If Anne Marlis is elected, will Anne Marlis stand up on her own 2 feet, or will it be a joint parliamentary effort between her and her predecessor, Joanna Gash?
Oh, good Lord. She has big shoes to fill, but I know that Anne will do a magnificent job.
Of course I'm going to be standing on my own 2 feet.
My office is right here. It's a bit of a soapbox, and I think that I'm here to tell you that there is an alternative.
Does that mean we're going to have a rotational Prime Minister again?
A rotational Prime Minister?
Yeah, not happy with one, so you stab them in the back and boot in another one, and then you stab them in the back and boot in another one. It's just chaotic, Neil.
That's just silly. I'm not into stabbing anybody in the back.
Both Houses of Parliament to impose the proposed amalgamations. The target from now on is Mike Baird and Paul Tyrrell. They're the ones that are going to be making the decision.
Politically, I didn't care because I felt so strongly that that's what the community wanted. I thought, well,
but you're going against your own party.
We do pride ourselves in the Liberal Party of being able to speak out against the party, and I did it with complete honesty.
It's a reminder that you've got to be really careful.
Are you careful?
Yeah, absolutely.
How careful?
Oh, look, I've been trained to be careful.
Everybody was signing it, but in fact it was that I would not support the Liberal candidates at the next election, and I went, oh my God.
When she signed that, there was a comment made by one of her state colleagues that she'd signed her own death warrant.
Did you sign your own death warrant there, or...?
Possibly. I didn't care.
I have no doubt that we must endorse Anne St Marlis on the 1st of May to give us the best chance of retaining Gilmore.
And Anne, can I ask, are you confident of being endorsed in the May 1 free selections for the seat of Gilmore?
Absolutely. I had the numbers, and I knew it. I knew that I had the numbers for that particular meeting, and that's probably why there wasn't a challenge, because I knew I had the numbers.
The media don't tell us what to think, but they do tell us what to think about. The agenda-setting power of the media is extraordinary, and if you don't work with them, well, they won't work with you.
Not many people realise that what they drive over isn't a thin living chunk of concrete, it's a massive, great big slab.
So pending cryogenic freezing, it'll be here long after I'm gone. Yeah.
That's it.
Are you planning on that?
No.
So when are you running for the seat of Gilmore?
No plans. Overall, so far, we've seen more than 710,000 cubic metres of material removed as part of this project, and we're expecting about 1.6 million cubic metres of material to be removed throughout the course of the project.
There's no opening for the city?
Oh, well, there's about to be an endorsement of the federal member.
Is that already happening?
No, not yet.
Pre-selection?
Well, pre-selections are closed. There's only one nominee.
Who was that?
It was Anne St Marlis.
What about in 2019?
I'm the member in 2019 for the state parliament, so no plans to run for Gilmore. Hey, Dick. Careful how you say that one. Righto. I issue many edicts, but I'd never pull one out of a barrel. There you go. Oh, thank you very much for that. That's really thoughtful. I'll pop that there. I won't forget it.
Press this week about tilt towards federal politics.
Look, other people have been talking about that. I don't think I've been saying that.
Does it disappoint you that it's been sort of made public like that?
No, look, it's politics.
Who would be leaking these sort of information?
This has happened to me before too, where people who are involved want to try and bring you down by leaking things to the paper to try and undermine you. It could be a myriad of people.
No. I don't need to leak to the media. He does it himself.
Been approached recently by branch members that maybe run for pre-selection if she gets disendorsed?
But she's not going to be disendorsed, so it's not a question. Look, Anne St Marlis will be the Liberal candidate for Gilmore, and I'll be absolutely delighted to go and help.
I think in-house there's definitely a rat in the rank there, there's no doubt. And I think we'd probably all work out who that is too.
There's some people inside the Liberal Party that have other agendas. And
what agenda do you have?
To get Anne St Marlis re-elected and to ensure a Turnbull government is elected should there be an election on the 2nd of July.
Oh, goodness gracious me, did he have his fingers crossed behind his back? No, I do not believe that. I mean, he would have said that because it was politically savvy to say that. I never felt that I had Gareth's support after about 2015.
I don't think Anne will win that election. I really don't. And I think there'll be fairly big backlash because of the amalgamation process.
So after the election, I expect that Anne will continue to champion the issues that mean so much to the local people. Okay, thanks everybody.
Whether or not Mr Turnbull decides to exert enough pressure on Mike Baird to let those questionable seats be let off the amalgamation, Gilmore is very questionable. And that's the only thing that will save us.
We figure that if we get a large enough roll-up and we can get a large proportion of those to vote no, the Premier and the Minister for Local Government will have permission to allow us to escape that dreadful fate of amalgamation.
50% of the community turning out, which for a voluntary poll is quite strong. But in addition to that, it was an emphatic result, 95% of people saying no to the proposed amalgamation.
This is a very significant day for New South Wales. We've listened, we've listened, we've listened.
I can assure you that while ever I'm the local member, this will be not something this government would ever be prepared to countenance again. I took on my own party, as I've done in the past and as I will do again. Ours was rejected because of a sensible, rational and methodical campaign, together with the community making it very clear what our intentions were.
Was it the captain's call or not?
Yes.
Oh, look, it's turned all of our worlds upside down, I think. It's been the worst 6 months of my life.
For me, it's been difficult because my message was a personal one to the local member, and the local member chose to share that with the world, and that was kind of embarrassing. I used a word that's a good, strong word. The male equivalent of that, I think, is a little bit vanilla, but I meant what I said.
Time to smell the roses and get out of the filth.
There were two very disappointing individuals that I think put their own interests before the community's interests. Look, I'm not going to go into who they are because I think this community is very intelligent and knows who was working hard to get this result and who didn't.
I was Gareth Ward's booth captain at his most successful booth, and I worked 14 hours that day to ensure his victory. But I'll tell you, Gareth, I will never, ever vote for you again.
Welcome to Nara, Mr Prime Minister.
Yeah, great to be here.
Thank you so much.
Be here.
I am completely honoured and indeed very excited to welcome the Prime Minister to our region.
I'm excited too.
Good.
To be in the Shoalhaven. There's never been a more exciting time to be in the Shoalhaven with you.
Thank you
Good
very, very much for coming.
Thanks a lot.
So it's all very well for the Prime Minister and Anson Mullins to come to Sanctuary Point Public School. So they need to provide that commitment. Labor's doing that.
How's it going?
Why Nara and why now?
Because Fiona Phillips will be an outstanding candidate for Gilmore.
Hello, I'm Fiona Phillips, Labor's candidate for Gilmore. Just saying hello.
Some would say you're still a rookie.
Some might say that. I've been particularly successful in this election. I've beat the national swing. I've beat the state swing. That tells people, both in the party and outside the party, that there's more to Anson Marlis than what they think.
2016, when pre-selection is being eyed off by other people, do you feel that your job will be eyed off in 2019?
Nothing is secure in politics. Not ever.
I'm in state politics. There are three levels of government. We're heading out for local today. There's a state level and there's a federal level.
Why am I out here handing out for Joe? Because they're the team who are actually going to make a difference for the community.
What's your reaction to Gareth handing up for the independents?
Well, they're not really independents. They like to pretend they are, but they're not.
We're all just helping out. That's what you do.
And I'm sure that's how he feels.
I know, it is an interesting mix.
And we're going to be working until the 6 o'clock bell goes in order to try and get every vote that we possibly can.
Vote for change.
That's it, vote for change.
People did approach me and ask me to run.
I haven't had a conversation with Gareth.
Fake news.
Oh no, it was strategic.
I'm not grooming Brad Schultz.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
There we go. Well done. What a busy day, eh?
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and welcome the campaign director, John Bennett, Joanna Gash, and the next member for Gilmore, Anson
What's your reaction to this result tonight?
I'm over the moon, absolutely over the moon. I never had any doubt, but I knew it would be very, very close, and she pulled it off.
Today was surreal. It was like, oh my goodness, today is election day.
That's it, today's the end, because you now have a new member.
One thing in my term, I would like to try and engineer and lobby for construction of the bridge. So the actual bridge won't be constructed in the first term, but if I can get a commitment for it, that would be what I'd be working towards.
And I look forward to working with her very strongly as Mayor of the Shoalhaven City, and with Gareth Ward and with Shelley Hancock, in order to make this city progress, which it desperately needs to do.
The great irony of the election win was Gareth Ward at the Nowra School of Arts requesting everybody to be quiet as he announced the entry of the new member for Gilmore, Ann St Marlis. I don't think that had happened today.
Federally, we had a very headstrong member in Joanna Gash. At a state level, we've got a very headstrong member in Gareth.
Locally in Gilmore, the rot really set in when the arguments developed over the Princes Highway.
The split got stronger and stronger, didn't it?
Forever and a day they've argued over who should fund it.
Things happen that people don't forget.
It's just been allowed to continue, and now we've seen the results. Isn't there somebody further up the food chain can see that this whole damn thing is going to be a train wreck and haven't called time on it? That's ridiculous.
Those people further up the food chain are fighting amongst themselves, aren't they?
So it was 10:30 the minister was due here?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's not 10:30?
Yeah.
No.
Is it?
No, it's not 10:30 yet.
No. Hey, how far away are you? So 5 minutes? 5 minutes. 5 to 10. He's just at South now.
Order of speaking.
I
think we do have an order of speaking.
Oh, well, I think Roy will run the event. I don't really mind who turns up, but it's what they actually do that counts. Let's hope it's not falling down before it starts.
But the other thing is, my problem is Andrew's
5 minutes away.
5 minutes?
Yep. I've been involved together with Shelley on pushing for the funding for this for quite some time.
Do you know the order of speaking?
I'll just do what I'm told, Madam Speaker, as I always do.
You don't ever do it.
The only thing that I'm 100% aware of is that I wanted to make sure that they had matching funding to come in with it, because I didn't want to be there for just half a bridge.
Evidently, evidently I'm kicking off.
No, Andrew.
According to the running sheet, I'm kicking off.
No, sorry.
I'll do the. Did you try to steal that away from her?
Oh, absolutely not. Whatever running sheet Ann St Marlis had was different from the ministerial run sheet, and it is protocol that the minister should speak first.
No, I don't think she was actually. I think the federal member was contesting whether or not the Minister for Transport and Infrastructure should speak after her. Look, these things should not worry people.
Apparently I'm going to the Minister, I think.
Okay, the order is Andrew. I just read it now.
Did that get adjusted last night?
Absolutely not.
I had a different running sheet to the one that actually happened.
Did it get changed the night before?
Not that I'm aware of.
Let's just go and start with that pair of them.
The running sheet, it was actually sent to the federal member with the minister speaking first, and that is protocol.
Well, I was just glad to get a gig that day because, I don't think I was even on the list, but there was a little scuffle, verbal scuffle about who was going when and how.
Okay, we're right to make a start. So I won't start naming people because we'll be here all day, but first of all, it's great to be joined by my parliamentary colleagues and in particular for a great announcement for the people of the Shoalhaven and of course people from the Kiama electorate and people from the Gilmore electorate. And it's great to have... Sorry? I'll get to Shelley in a minute. It's very pleasingly to see all tiers of government here today. All tiers of government are going to have to make a contribution to this project. I'll just hand over to Anne, I understand, is the running order, and then my state colleagues.
Thank you very much.
I'm very proud that we're all working together on this project, and I'll kick over to Shelley.
Thank you very much. We now need to work together, not to try and shaft each other, not to try and throw responsibility from one tier of government to another. I'll call on my Kiama colleague now, state colleague.
Gareth?
Thank you, Shel.
Yes.
What you're seeing here today is a united front from all of us, and all of us are going to keep on fighting to make sure that we get it. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's just, it's just been unfortunate the way that it's just evolved, and some of the things that you've said to me this morning from the federal member are simply not true, just not true. And it would be nice to be able to work as a team again with a federal member who wants to work with us.
The bridge was everything.
But they stole it away from you.
Oh, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. The bridge is Anne's bridge, and the community know that.
Okay, ready to go? All right, well, I'm delighted to be here with Shelley Hancock, the member for South Coast, and Anne Sudmalis, the Liberal candidate for Gilmore, to announce that a coalition government, if elected, $10 million will be invested into planning the third Shoalhaven River crossing.
Thanks, guys. That's it.
Okay.
Right, well, I didn't get to say thank you from the New South Wales government.
No, well, what about Shelley? Yeah.
Too late. Don't stress about it. No, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
Don't stress. No stress. No stress, because you'll get shingles.
No, I can't do that.
You're both matching today.
It's amazing. How did we do that?
It was intuition, ESP. Behind us will be built a new bridge, a new northbound bridge, 4 lanes. We're able to deliver the half of the cost of the bridge, and we look forward to the New South Wales government having more to say about it shortly.
Look, it was a political hot potato because we didn't work as a team very well on that. There was an announcement down at the river about retaining the bridge, and really that's what made me a bit angry, because this was our bridge.
Was that payback?
Oh, no, it was strategic.
From then on, things have gone downhill, because unless you can work as a team on a project, it all falls apart.
If I say to you, I'll give you a really good bit of information and it's correct, and don't report that I told you, you're going to spill your guts on me?
With the possibilities of an early election being called federally, I'm hearing some rumblings amongst the Gilmore election with pre-selection possibility that it might be fairly heavily contested, given that Gilmore's a marginal seat. Are you hearing anything as a local member?
Who are you hearing the rumblings from?
Are you hearing any rumblings?
No, you say you're hearing them. Who are they? What are their names?
I can't reveal my sources.
Fake news. Any further questions? No, thank you.
Leaks are often done for a purpose.
Of course they are.
They're done for a self-serving purpose, and there's some people in particular who are very good at it.
When you questioned me, there wasn't rumblings. Things change very, very quickly when people make decisions as nomination dates close. So what I said to you then was absolutely truthful.
Anne is a phenomenal candidate, member, advocate that she has had. She has been supported again and again by
she's the person for the job.
People of Gilmore. Well, look, we're going to have a new bridge. Who did that? Anne Sudmalis.
Apparently, through the different media, there was some important person who was putting that information out there. And it certainly wasn't me, and it certainly wasn't any of my trusted people.
It was Scott Morrison that came down and wrapped his arms around the federal member and made a big to-do about the pre-selection. I mean, I just think that you actually exacerbate problems by behaving like that, and nominations hadn't even closed.
Happy to take questions.
Take a few questions.
Mr Morrison, should the Liberal Party pre-select Anne for this seat at Gilmore?
Yes, they should.
People did approach me and ask me to run, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't think about it.
Are you one of the senior Liberals who has told Mr Ward to back off?
I haven't had a conversation with Gareth.
Let me just put it this way. It's extremely unusual to challenge a very marginal seat holder.
Why is it unusual?
Because it's usually not very successful.
Is because we've had fantastic members like Anne Sudmalis, who you can see is in the warm embrace of the Turnbull government. Great to see you. Thanks very much.
Oh, no, there's no doubt about that. I mean, there's no doubt that senior government ministers, including the Prime Minister, have made it clear that they want Anne to be the candidate at the next election.
And Mr Ward's been described as a power broker. Is that old news?
I don't even know about that.
How many people think that they have that status? That's only a question they can answer.
I don't go around and say I've got X votes and I'm going to shift these people over here like I'm some general of a legion. That's just not what I do.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Well done. Something you're looking forward to doing, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, possibly.
Was that Grant Schultz? Yeah?
Yes, it was.
Who invited him?
I don't know. He just turned up to see you.
No, I'm sure he did.
Yeah. What's that? Thanks, Gareth. No, chat to Shelley.
Oh, I'm a bit surprised, actually. I didn't invite him, but obviously, people are allowed to be in a public place. Very interesting, though.
Bit of coaching on the side.
Well, you'd have to ask her about that.
Grant Schultz receives my media releases, obviously, and my statements. And it's up to him as to whether he turns up. I don't ring him up every day and say, Grant, you need to be here because I'm grooming you. I'm not grooming Grant Schultz.
Mr. Ward. What are you doing here? Oh, just popping in. I've got to pick up some stuff for Beck. Yeah. The calluses on your hand. Turning sods, was it, mate?
Is it concerning to see him at these sort of official events?
I think it's a bit rude, actually, of people to invite potential and aspiring candidates when we've got to have a relationship with the federal government, no matter who that person may be.
Are you hoping to get support from Gareth and Shelley in the pre-selection?
Oh, yeah, that'll be up to them, of course, and they'll make their own decisions as they do.
Well, there's no uncertainty as far as I'm concerned because that is a matter for the party members to decide. There's 2 candidates that are nominated, that's a matter for them.
Bullying, betrayal and backstabbing have been the hallmarks of one of my state Liberal colleagues, Gareth Ward.
This act of indulgent petulance should be seen for exactly what it is.
I don't know why Gareth is not here.
Politics is a place where if you do not have great resilience, the actions of others can impact on your mental health. Bullying, betrayal and backstabbing have been the hallmarks of one of my state Liberal colleagues, Gareth Ward, over the past 6.5 years. The final straw came when this same state MP, after stacking my branches, completely rolled my supportive FEC committee at the AGM. I have asked the Prime Minister to acknowledge the withdrawal of my nomination for the seat of Gilmore.
Is John Bennett's position under threat in the federal branch?
I have no idea.
I've been FEC President now for 9 years, and in that time, Joe and I have never had a fight. I have a feeling, though, that at the stage of Joe's parliamentary career that I came to the position, Joe didn't really need a person who was going to interfere in what she was doing, and I was selected as a suitable yes man.
It's a bizarre question. I don't know why you'd ask me that. I'm a state member of Parliament. That's the FEC.
Would he be under threat given that he's in the Liberal Party? He's under the and St Miles Joe Gash sort of care?
Look, I think John would be happy to give away the job, quite frankly. He's been there a long time. I think if someone credible challenged him for it, he'd probably hand it over.
Would that be Adam Straney?
I love it when journalists ask these questions and they sort of bait the hook by saying, would it be this person or that person? It's like a game of Guess Who, flipping down the cards. Do they have blonde hair? Do they have blue eyes? Are they an ex-radio personality that also happens to be Master of Ceremonies? Well, that'd be Adam Straney. Well, let me tell you, I have no idea. Why don't you ask them?
I said a long time ago, actually, to John Bennett, because he and I worked together at the Narrow Show Society, and I said a long time ago to him, I'd love to do what you do, mate. Be the president, kind of look after the candidate and polling day and get around to many polling booths and then become a scrutineer at the end of the day. I'd love to do that. Did I ever think that it would actually happen in 2018? Well, probably not.
There was a shake-up in the Gilmore FEC over the weekend as well. How hard is that going to make it for you to get re-elected?
It's very interesting you should ask that. It's a party matter.
There was a state member behind it.
She'd open?
No.
We hear there was a pretty big shake-up.
Especially those numbers, mate, the number crunching.
I don't know why Gareth is not here.
John Bennett has been a chairman for 12 years.
Was Grant Schultz behind the shake-up?
I'm not going to talk about it.
Adam Straney is the new chairman.
Grant Schultz told me he wants your job. He wants the pre-selectors to have a choice.
You do realise that I'm a little biased over that issue?
I'm offering myself as a choice of the best candidate.
And on that note, we're done.
Because of the skullduggery that went on, I was very anxious to speak. I bit my tongue towards the end because I know that I'm a member of the Liberal Party, but to me that was beside the point. I wanted to get out there of the skullduggery that was done in relation to the FEC. I guess I stopped short of saying a whole lot more because I realised I could damage people by doing it.
What can you tell us that you stopped short of today?
I'll wait a bit longer.
Some of my friends will ask me if I am okay. Absolutely yes. I've had 5 years working for others in the capacity of a federal member. It has been a privilege and I thank you. There's such a big difference in the community that I think I would have actually increased my margin.
Delusional. When she stood in 2013 for the seat of Gilmore, the Abbott government coming into office, uniform swings towards the Liberal Party, she went backwards. The best redistribution then followed that we have ever had, the best boundaries for Gilmore, again she went backwards. There's a theme developing here and none of those involve a swing towards her.
But I have to say, we always had the faith in her. Yeah. She was the right candidate.
The feedback that I'm getting is the true regret that there's a very good chance that I could have won again.
Why did she re-nominate and then instantly withdraw? What happened between her nomination and her withdrawal to trigger this?
It was a total stack. There were people of the Liberal Party handing out a list of people who the new FEC wanted to have on board, and we knew the minute that John was rolled that the whole lot of us would be rolled.
I love this. I love this when people say we've seen notes handed around.
Can I use an expletive? Bullshit. Everybody saw it. You ask some of the other members if they're prepared to talk.
Did you see any notes handed around with names on it?
No, I believe there were, but I didn't see them. I didn't see them.
Didn't see any notes?
No, I didn't. No.
Excuse me, Maurice. Can I just ask you one quick question? I know you chaired the meeting, the FEC meeting that was rolled.
I'm not going to talk about party organisational matters, but thanks very much.
How would you describe that meeting that day?
I don't speak about party organisational matters in public, and I'm not going to start doing that now.
But you were there that night?
It wasn't a night, it was a day, and I'm not going to talk about party organisational matters.
Did you chair that meeting?
Yes, I did.
Well, it would have worked in my favour if people had been using their common sense, but clearly that was missing at that meeting.
I was a hissy fit. And through a hissy fit, and I guess when you are the member who has just seen what could be perceived to be your entire world fall down around you, then you might well say, well, this is wrong. I'm going to say something.
I said some very robust words to the group gathered.
How robust?
Extremely robust, but nothing short of the truth.
To simply chuck your toys out of the cot because you didn't get your way and to storm off in this act of indulgent petulance should be seen for exactly what it is. Because she didn't get her way when bullies are confronted, she behaved exactly how I would have expected, which is quite disgracefully.
That's the way it rolls in branch meetings and whatever party it is. People are going to get rolled.
When you were with Scott Morrison, you said, I'm doing a damn good job. Why flick the property off? Why did you get off hand?
Well, I think I got knocked off. Quite literally, I think they took the stirrups off the saddle.
I'd made it clear that I was happy to support her. She took the opportunity to try and blow me up on the way out. Well, it didn't work because people actually know me and they know her. And people made up their own mind a long time ago about Ann St Marlis.
At the moment, the only nomination that is with the Liberal Party and with head office is Grant Schultz. And at this stage, it seems as though it will be Grant Schultz who will be the candidate moving forward.
80-20 would mean that work just continues further down the highway, which is what we want.
Zach, Steve, how are you going? You ready to go? Well, I'm really pleased to be here. Another day, another infrastructure project. I'm reminded when you see the crosses on the side of the road, we need these upgrades to save lives.
Will Grant Schultz make a good Liberal candidate for Gilmore when he's endorsed on Wednesday night?
Well, look, obviously those matters are matters for the Liberal Party, but every day that the Liberal Party doesn't endorse a candidate, it's a day that we're letting the Labor Party have free rein in this area.
Maybe the state member should look at himself as to why this has occurred. Why are we giving them a free hit? And why has there been no pre-selection done? And why was there such a backlash against Ann St Marlis from within the Liberal Party?
Well, I think anyone who doesn't put their name to anything is gutless. And so, every time I get accused of leaking, I just laugh because I've never had a problem with saying what I actually think.
So you don't leak that?
No. I don't need to.
What electorate doesn't have a candidate?
I mean, it's a joke. They are absolutely treating people with contempt in this electorate.
Grant Schultz will probably be endorsed. There's no reason why he shouldn't be. He's the only candidate in the field. We've had him on the ground all the time, and then when Anson Marlis resigned, he's been there ever since. And really, we needed a candidate on the ground to fight Fiona Phillips.
Well, he's one possible candidate, but there's the possibility of an empty chair and then another pre-selection, or the possibility that someone gets parachuted in as well, and maybe perhaps not even a local.
I'm hoping that there is some form of unity, be it yes or be it no, so that we know where we stand.
Anne and Joe Gash were out there saying that we need more democratic processes inside the Liberal Party. They advocated for single member, single votes. That's all about pre-selections. But no, not when it relates to them. Not when it relates to them. Everyone else, that's fine, not us. Double standards, hypocrites.
Grant Schultz winner?
Absolutely.
So, this is the night we've been waiting for.
Here for the pre-selection?
Yeah, thought so. It's one of the pre-selectors there.
Here for the party meeting, mate?
Bit of interest from the media.
Nice evening. Nice to see you again, Michael.
I wonder if that's one of the pre-selectors. Meeting's well on the way. Grant Schultz was lining up in the bistro for a meal. How do you feel right now?
I was going to say pissed off.
Good result, Shelley?
Fantastic result.
I suppose in a way I'm disappointed. He was endorsed.
Will you stay a member as the Liberal Party, or will you be resigning?
No comment.
So that's a yes, sir?
No comment.
What's next for you now, Joe?
What's next for me? I think watch this space.
Nearly across the line, mate. Nearly.
I was cheesed off.
Next member for Gilmore.
I understand our opponents haven't even settled on their candidate.
Yeah, it is frustrating that it has taken such a long time.
He has not been endorsed. Usually an endorsement would take 1 to 2 days.
And now a former Labor Party boss is potentially going to be parachuted into the sea.
The Prime Minister has stated that he believes in a fair go. He has not given me that.